Beer. Sparkling, golden, pure, refreshing.
Oh, hey, now come on. Hang on now. Can't we just settle this over a pint? No. All right, then. Come on!
Chilled now, and Ingrid serves it in the traditional manner, from a pitcher with a garland of greenery. Mmm.
These guys find the kind of relaxation and release they need in a cold glass of beer. For them, only beer does it.
Grandpa's telling tales of yore. Bruce Q talks about comics more. Norm's got jokes that we adore. Hawk's our mascot, hear it roar. 3BeerMen drinking in the streams, laughing like there's no tomorrow. Hawk's loud score praising the bars, filled with joy, never sorrow. Grandpa's got his old school tricks, Bruce Q's latest adventure and more. Norm with laughs that'll mix, Hawk circles watch him soar. Beer cans clinking, stories unfold. Nights like these are pure gold. These memories bold, never sold. In twilight's slow time behold. Everyone needs a night like this, full of stories can't be missed. Simple joys, pure bliss. In each sip, there's a twist. Man drinking in the streams, laughing like there's no tomorrow. Hot clouds spark raising the bars, filled with joy, never sorrow. 3BeerMen drinking in the streams, laughing like there's no tomorrow. Hot clouds spark raising the bars, filled with joy, never sorrow. Grandpa's got his old school tricks, Bruce Q's latest adventure and more. Norm with laughs that'll mix, hot circles watch him soar. Beer cans clinking, stories unfold. Nights like these are pure gold. These memories bold, never sold. In twilight's glow time we hold. Everyone needs a night like this, full of stories can't be missed. Simple joys, pure bliss. In each sip there's a twist. In each sip there's a twist.
We're live.
Hello, and welcome to 3BeerMen. This, 4th of July weekend. Hopefully everybody had a great 4th on Friday. Bruce is going to be late, but I'm here, Norm, and Cosmic's here. So, and I'm not sure where Hawk is. Hopefully he's safe, wherever he may be. So, doesn't look like we have that many people over in Pillage yet. Probably going to wander in later. We have quite a few people over in D-Live. But before we say hi to everybody, why don't we say what we're drinking? Do you want to go first, Kaz, or should I?
Why don't you go ahead and go first? And I'm going to go ahead and add Squawk to the scene here. We will see if Squawk's audio is working tonight.
Squawk.
Yep, it's working.
All right.
Let me find my avatar.
All right, Norm, so what are you drinking tonight?
I'm a creature of habit, Squawk. I'm back to Jack and Coke.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, I am drinking. I'm not drinking a IPA for once.
Yeah.
I am drinking a local beer. It's one from the San Fernando Valley, sort of where I live in the San Fernando Valley, even though well, Burbank and Glendale are considered San Fernando Valley, but they're kind of their own thing too. Uh, this one's called 81. It's from 818 Brewery, which is the actual area code of the San Fernando Valley here in Southern California. This is
Wait, hold up. How many area codes does California have?
Southern California alone.
California as a state, how many area codes does it have? Oh, never mind. I'll look it up since you don't know off the top of your head. Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't know off the top of my head because they keep on adding some. They just added like 747, I believe, to 818 because now if you're in the 818, I don't think you get the 818 is Burbank, Glendale, and San Fernando Valley, and then there's 213, 323, or
like I said, Norm, I'll look it up. I didn't mean to get you sidetracked.
Yeah, no, there's in Southern California, I could count probably over 30 of them alone. That's not even including the Bay Area and the Central Valley. So there's a bunch. But 818, like I said, is San Fernando Valley, Burbank, and Glendale are included in the 818. A lot of movie studios actually have 818 area codes, like Universal Studios is 818-777. If you 818-777 whatever, that's got to be Universal Studios. I'm almost positive. So it's a big area code, but this is called Matador Red. It's a red ale. So I really enjoy red ales. So saw this in the grocery store, decided to pick it up. Has a nice label on it with a matador and a slaying a bull, it looks like. So
41 according to my sources.
How many?
41 area codes.
Is that the whole of California? So yeah, that's
yes, and that was the question I asked. I said the whole state, and you kept jumping back to Southern California, and I want the whole state.
Yeah, because I know the Bay Area and Southern California have a bunch of them themselves. Because
you got 41 overall.
Yeah, just a few miles away from me, we got 646 over in Pasadena. A few miles the other way is 310. 213, as I said, 323. Those are some popular ones. So
yeah, I've always had a soft spot for 213 because in the early 80s, when I worked for a California company, 213 was their area code. So I always knew if I was getting a call from 213 that it was going to be Cato Systems in Torrance.
Over in Torrance, I don't think Torrance is 213 anymore. I think 213.
I don't think it is anymore either. 213, I'm sure, is like downtown now.
That's only downtown, almost positive. Because when I first moved here, I worked in Hollywood, which was 213, and that was in the mid 90s, and sometimes in the late 90s they switched it to 323. So,
but
yeah,
keep in mind that is the 3BeerMen call-in number. It's 213 area code. So
we got.
And no, we're not taking calls tonight. I didn't put that up there for people to call. But just to illustrate the fact,
Captain Crunch Kazoo call us long distance either.
But 818 is a huge area code. So if you get a call from 818, that's the San Fernando Valley or Burbank or Glendale. Like I said, a lot of movie studios. Warner Brothers is in Burbank. Disney Studios is in Burbank, so they both have 818. The Universal Studios is in North Hollywood, which is also 818. It's kind of strange because
I don't think like you and maybe two other people in the entire audience are in California.
What? I'm sorry.
I don't think we have a lot of listeners from California.
I don't know. I think there's
just a guess, but if they did, they may not be there anymore.
Yeah, we have a lot of California expatriates. who watch the show. People who came from California, raised in California, lived in California for some period of
Yep.
time, but
But
all
I
live somewhere else now.
Sadly, it's a beautiful state. As far as different terrains, nobody's even close to California.
it is a beautiful state,
Yeah.
but
All in such a tightly packed area. I mean,
I
it's probably the most beautiful state. And I say that grudgingly because I love my native state. We all do, but California's really got it all. They're just
yeah
ruining it.
yeah. That's why I got to stay here and fight. But I was going to say that if you do get a call from 808, that's actually Hawaii. So that's because I have
That's
gotten
an old 808 is an old school area code.
yeah
That's
I have
been
gotten
around for a
calls
while.
from 808 before where people have confused it with 818, and yep, it's like no, you need a Hawaii. But I do know two streamers that do have a 808 area code because they were stationed over there. And
Area codes are weird. It took me a while
yeah,
to figure out zip codes. There is a method to zip codes. They do make sense, like the Dewey Decimal System. If you look into it, there's a method to the madness. There isn't one with area codes.
yeah, I agree with you.
Well, there might have been up until the 1980s, but then when they started splitting out the area, for a long time, you could tell if a number was a legitimate area code or not just to look at it, because certain digits always had to be certain things together.
Yeah.
Well, the old school, and even I've seen some newer shows that use the 555, not the
Yeah,
area code, but the prefix. That's
still use the 555 prefix. Yeah,
yeah. So that's
Or the 976. That charges a bunch.
yeah,
well, yeah.
the late night numbers,
So
indeed. All right, well, on to what I'm drinking tonight. Ironically, you said you're drinking a red. What I am drinking tonight is red, but it is not a red. In fact, ironic given that the title of tonight's show is Big Beautiful Beer, you'd think I'd be drinking an Imperial or something like that. But in fact, I'm not even drinking a beer tonight. I am drinking something here called Rocket Pop. From Great Lakes Brewing. So it does come from a brewery, but it is in fact not a beer. It is a hard seltzer. And it is, in fact, when I did the research, not even a brewed hard seltzer. It is the hard seltzer in the hardest sense of the word. Basically, they throw yeast on raw cane sugar and make alcohol out of that. I wouldn't even call that rum. That's just raw alcohol, and then they throw flavor on top of it, and that's what the kids drink these days, apparently. But it was the only thing I could find in red, white, and blue since they went and discontinued the red, white, and blue beer. Can't find that anymore. That was a Pabst product, by the way. Pabst made red, white, and blue beer.
yeah, and from the bottle top, the can opener, the bottle opener on that's probably from the 70s, I would say. They
Yeah,
stopped doing those.
probably. They stopped making red, white, and blue sometime in the mid 1980s. But I do remember drinking red, white, and blue beer shortly, well, out of high school, so that dates me. But yeah, I was drinking red, white, and blue beer because I believe at the time it was $5.99 a case.
It was economically,
Yes, it
yeah,
was.
economically sound for.
But it's funny that you say red beer, Norm, because
Yeah.
this is in fact red. Yours is actually a red ale. It's the brownish color you would expect a red ale to be. This is red like red Kool-Aid, basically. So, like I said, I suspect one of those things the kids drink. I had to look up Rocket Pop. Apparently, there was something called a Bomb Pop. I never had one when I was a kid, but apparently it's the three colored icicle kind or ice popsicle kind of thing.
I have some in my freezer right now. I bought some yesterday. The rock pop. So yeah,
Now, are they called bomb pops or are they called rocket pops?
I have to go look. I've seen them called both because there is a
Because bomb
generic.
pops are the original. Rocket pops are
Yeah,
apparently a cheap knockoff. What
I,
I
I
understand.
I got some yesterday that were different. So I think I got the bomb pops yesterday and the rocket pops today. So because I
It,
actually got some more when I went grocery shopping because those are a great summertime treat for me. Those just bring back nostalgic days of at the park in the summertime and the ice cream man. So
indeed.
I always pick up a
And
bunch of those.
yeah, I do have to say it has a nice aroma to it, but flavor wise, it is a seltzer. It may as well be a White Claw. I will drink it, but I will not necessarily like it.
I forgot to say the alcohol per volume on mine is 5.8. What's the alcohol per volume on that again? Did you say? Or
5.5 on these ones. So,
oh, okay,
but of course that's engineered. Yours is
yeah,
brewed to to a
yeah.
certain ABV. This is just mixed to a certain ABV.
It, it's like kind of like the is that what the wort? It's not even fermented, is it? Or is it? Well, it had to be
Well,
fermented, I guess, at
yeah,
some point.
technically
Yeah,
it does ferment, but it's not really brewed per se.
yeah.
With brewing, you're brewing to extract the sugars from the grain. That's the brewing process. And then once you have the sugars extracted, that's wort. And then you put yeast in the wort, and the yeast works on the sugars in the wort and makes beer. Well, this basically is just taking sugar water and throwing yeast in it.
It's a fructose. It's a
And
natural fructose sugar, right?
yeah, it just makes alcohol and not much else. So
Well, shall we get to the chats, or do we want to talk
yeah,
more
yeah,
about
let's
the?
go ahead and do that. I see Hawk is a little bit intermittent connectivity wise, so we'll see if his audio comes back here in a minute. In the meantime, yeah, let's see who we got. Start over in the YouTube over at the Madness Comic Network. Rowland T, always good to see you. Says, drink your beer. Fair enough. We love our folks over at Madness Comic Network, Madness Entertainment Group. Lots of stuff going on over there, lots of new shows, so definitely check that out. And if you're on Pilled, you can check it out under Madness Comic Network. Not quite as much new stuff on Pilled just yet. Most of the new stuff is over on YouTube at first, and soon to be on Roku.
Uh, yeah, we'll be
Meanwhile,
talking about that soon. The Roku.
indeed, we'll be over there. And meanwhile, I do not see anyone in the Odyssey or the Twitch or the Rumble just yet, which means that Magatic is either out on a call or has not made it in yet to be our fire safety engineer. So over to our
I'm
oldest and most loyal chat. Good, Norm.
I'm assuming it's a busy weekend for Magatic. I think he once told me that July 4th weekend was one of the most busiest weekends. So
I can believe that. I guess that would make sense. And I'm guessing that he didn't necessarily mean because of firemen's parades.
yeah,
Although there are a lot of those on 4th of July weekend, so there is that. But
yeah, yeah.
indeed, yeah. So so over to our oldest and most faithful audience, the D Live. John Rogers was in first tonight, followed by Bad Zoot, TL Spud, Willie Fixit, Rick Carmen, Jayla17, Peggy Dancer, and Artist 61. Always good to see all of you. Thank you for coming on board.
Yeah. Speaking of
And by the way,
artists, go ahead.
I was going to just going to mention that we had a meeting last night, a postseason meeting for the Foxhole Squares, and we discussed some things that we are going to be doing next season, some new things that we're going to be doing, maybe some themes and so forth, and we may end up having some shows where we bring in guest squares that are kind of, all related to a particular show. So you may very well find coming up here that we have a 3BeerMen night or a themed night where we have some guest openings for you folks out there in the D Live. So everybody I just mentioned, John Rogers, Bad Zoo, TL Spud, Willie Fixit, Rick Carmen, Jayla 17, Peggy Dancer, Artist 61, and everyone else who comes and visits us over on the D Live, we may have a D Live theme night over there. So stay tuned.
That sounds very cool. And I was going to say, speaking of Artist 61, who's over in the D Live, thank you very much for the cookie. We actually don't have that many people over in Pilled, but we do have Willie Fixit, Classical Chick, Spazzo Yeti, and Ghost Pepper. Thank you for being so true over there. I'm sure there'll be more people rolling in once some of these other shows end. So, but
yeah, or somebody sends a raid or something along those lines. We tend to get a lot of our traffic over on the Pilled from incoming raids, so we appreciate that.
Yeah. So the
all right,
the Foxhole Squares are gonna have theme nights, and I would love to get some of the squares on. I know a lot of the squares have been on the show as guests before, but I would love to get them as guests on our show as well when that picks back up. So
yeah, and there's such a nice crossover over there too, because I mentioned our D Live group, but one of the regular squares on the Foxhole Squares, Enoch, if you're not familiar with him, he has a fairly good sized following over on D Live and brings a lot of D Live people over there as well. Yeah, so we're definitely branching out. We're going to be broadcasting on more channels this fall, and just trying to mix it up, make it even more interesting than it already is.
Well, I know a lot of the squares when I was on the Foxhole Squares. A lot of the regular squares that I knew them originally from D Live, so from before Foxhole even started. And it's hard to believe that Foxhole's been around for, 4.5 years now or so. I believe it's been 4.5 years, hasn't it? Since when Foxhole started?
Well, we've been on for 4 years and 3 months roughly now.
Oh.
Yeah, 4 years and 3 months. And Foxhole was fairly new when we started the show.
Yeah, I think they started in January of that year.
So they may have a 5th anniversary coming up here sometime.
Yeah, soon. Yeah, soon.
Well,
I know
the next 6 months at most, for sure.
Yeah, I know that Pilled was around for a little longer than Foxhole. Pilled was around without video, and then Foxhole was their video streaming platform. So, because I was actually on Pilled before Foxhole started, and then Foxhole started. Yeah, there we go. So, but it's 5 years. It's hard to believe. And speaking of Pilled Foxhole, yeah, boy, Death, good to see you. So,
indeed,
he raided
I don't know
himself.
If he tried to send us a raid. If that's
I don't know if he has a show to raid. Yeah. So
anyway, that's funny. All right. Well, I guess we can move on to a little bit of this week in beer. I think I have a few things to talk about, not a whole lot. Of course, Friday, we celebrated the real No Kings Day, the freedom from kings, we should say. And of course, thankfully, this is July, so we celebrate a different kind of Pride Month.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
So that's, yeah, it just feels like a tremendous sense of relief, really, to be done with June and have it behind us.
Yeah. Well, it's never really felt like summer began until July. Like, it's always like, that's when I feel like the summer had started. So, yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, there's some chat going on over in the D Live about the people who migrated originally from YouTube to D Live when the big purge happened, and some like Red Pill 78 and Craig Mason, who are now not on D Live anymore because D Live went through a purge of its own as well.
Yeah.
And for a while, you couldn't be there either. So that was really big inspiration for people going over to Pilled and Rumble as well. Although Rumble has some rules, from what I understand, you can get yourself banned from Rumble.
And it seems like that D Live has been around longer. I remember I came over to D Live because of Adel and Frank were two of the main ones that brought me over there.
Well, I remember coming over originally from YouTube to D Live to follow the band YouTubers as well. And at that time, I remember feeling like we were kind of taking over a gaming channel or something, because every stream that you would see over on the left-hand side of the stream was some live game being streamed. And it was just the first infiltration of the political shows just starting on there. So, there's only a handful of those, and everything else was like, World of Warcraft live.
I felt Twitch was that way at that time too. Was just basically gamers that were streaming live. That evolved into, I think they are still all gamers. So it seems like everything.
Yeah, Twitch is having a weird identity crisis right now because there's still a lot of gamers over there, but yet they are also primarily, Asmongold and, all the big Twitchers over there now, they're all political channels. Hassan and all that stuff. It's not gaming anymore. Yeah, Boy Death asked where Bruce is. Bruce is with family, but he is on his way. He will join us just as soon as he finishes up. But he spends his Sunday afternoons in Connecticut with the grandkids and just wrapping that stuff up. So he'll be with us here shortly.
Yep.
Which is good because the big piece of news that I have for today is almost hard to do without Bruce. It's a big birthday today. It's a huge birthday celebration today, and I'll bet hardly anybody knows about it. Today is Burt Ward's 80th birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. So, yeah, Burt Ward, the original Robin in the Adam West 1966 Batman series. Adam Ward turns 80 today.
What has he done since then?
That's a good question.
I'm trying to think. Yeah. His last name is Ward. I just got that. Yeah. Because, Robin was Bruce Wayne's ward.
Yeah, exactly.
Dick Grayson was his ward. So, which is basically an adopted son from a philanthropy adopted son, if I understand correctly. what a
Yeah, all it
was.
says in Wikipedia under post-Batman career is, after the end of Batman, Ward, like Adam West, found himself hard-pressed to find other acting jobs.
Well, Adam West really made a comeback with Family Guy.
Yeah, yeah, as a voice actor, yeah, that
Yeah,
was well, and technically a caricature of himself. I
of
mean, it was
himself. Yeah,
yeah, it wasn't he wasn't voice acting another character. He was
yeah. Patrick Stewart almost did the same thing in there, but he wasn't Patrick Stewart. So
yeah.
yep.
TL says, "Holy octogenarians."
So
Yeah, I'm sure Bruce would have had a lot more to talk about on that one. That's for sure.
yeah, it seems like a lot of those actors actually go off and do like those convention. Well, I know the Star Trek actors do that. I'm not sure if they're Comic Cons or, but it seems like a lot of them go off and do that. I know there were some actors from American Graffiti I've seen at car shows. When I go to car shows, that
Oh yeah,
besides Ron Howard and all the people that actually made it big from American Graffiti, like Harrison Ford and Ron Howard, and who was the other one that really made it big? Quite a few
let's
stars made it big.
let's look and see here. Okay, next Steel City Con coming up here in August. We have Mike Tyson.
Wow.
Oh boy, and let's see a whole bunch of other names that I really don't recognize.
Well, the first guy, he was the Punisher on the Netflix series. He was also the brother and the accountant and the accountant too. So he was also on Walking Dead. So he's been in quite a few things. Him and Mike Tyson are pretty much the only two I recognize. And there's what's his name? I can't read the names. But guy right at the bottom in the middle there, I recognize him from a TV show.
Thomas Jane.
Yeah,
He was also in The Punisher, but I recognize him from The Expanse.
yeah, the
He was
Punisher
Detective
and
Miller
yeah,
on The Expanse.
yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly where I recognize him from.
And that was an excellent role. That was a really good show. If you've never seen The Expanse, that was a really good series.
It went
That's a
on
recommendation
for
the audience.
quite a few seasons on Amazon after it got off of Sci-Fi. It was originally a Sci-Fi series one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's John Cusack, of course. Recognize him from all the teenage movies when I was in high school. And he's done quite a few other things after that. There was a guy above, in the row above, I recognize from a few different things. But was that the doctor in the guy above on the last one? Was he
Which
yeah? Was he in
which one?
The Star Trek, the one with the number 2 after him.
It's Hank Azaria.
Mm.
That's the Simpsons voice.
Okay. He looks familiar, although he's a voice actor.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that Bruce and I will get to Steel City Con this time, though. We went to the last one. I don't know that we will go to this one because just 1 month later, we have Ditko Con coming up, and that's in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And I believe Bruce will be coming back down for that. And we'll be broadcasting live from there. That, of course, is the homage to Steve Ditko, the original creator of Spider-Man.
Which is, Stan Lee took credit for Bruce can go into that. I think we did go into that on one of the shows before. And
indeed. All right, let me.
Yeah, Zozo, dude, good to see you. Bruce is on the loose, and we're getting a rave from Belushi. Thank you very much.
And there we go. All right, thank you, Belushi.
We were talking about the foxhole
that.
squares, and we got Zozo, dude, the announcer, and Belushi, the center square himself.
Yeah, indeed. The star of the foxhole squares and the host.
I could see Day Tripper came in on that and raid, and good to see you, Day Tripper. I haven't talked to you in a while. It's been quite a while, actually. So, yeah.
Indeed.
So we've got quite a few people joining us now. After
we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess then that gives us an excuse to get into the main portion of the show, which, of course, we titled the show Big Beautiful Beer. That was an homage to the Big Beautiful Bill, which passed earlier this week, which, because we're not a political show, we're not going to spend any time at all talking about. Because that is a extremely political subject, and honestly, one I've got some mixed feelings on. I mean, I'm happy to see things progressing, but at the same time, there's a lot of things. So so we're good, Norm.
I haven't paid any attention to it, so I wouldn't be able to comment on it at all. I've really been too busy to even look into anything like that.
The reason why we're sticking to our area of expertise tonight, which is Big Beautiful Beer. And of course that made me think of big beers. Big beers typically referring to imperials, doubles, triples. Those are what's usually referred to as big beers, as opposed to what was in the early days, call it the early colonization days, referred to as small beers. And what I did is I lined up a video. We don't normally do this, but I lined up a video for us to do some reaction to. We're not going to play it the whole way through. I'm just going to play little bits of it, and then we'll use our beer knowledge to kind of react on it a little bit. But I thought this was kind of an interesting topic. So let me play the first few minutes of this, and then we will stop and react.
Beer was more than a recreational drink. What if it was made in every household? What if it was drank by everyone, including children? What if beer was about survival?
So that was the introduction. And as you can tell, what he's alluding to is the fact that back in revolutionary days, beer was in fact brewed at home by lots of people and was consumed by lots of people, including men, women, and children.
And so wine was as well, and wine was over in Europe. And a lot that had to do a lot with alcohol, like because water wasn't always good, and you need to.
Well, let me go ahead and play a little bit more, and he'll talk about that. But this is what I wanted to do with this: is play a little bit, comment on it, talk about it, add our knowledge to it, and then we'll see what.
What was the reality in 18th century America? Not every water source was safe to drink, and everyone kind of knew that. And so they would stay away from water when possible and drink other kinds of beverages. Coffee and tea, and especially something like hard cider. But beer was important because it was already sterilized. They didn't know exactly what was going on with beer and why it was safe to drink. We know today that if you boil all those ingredients, you're killing off things like dangerous bacteria. You introduce your yeast and you get this mildly alcoholic beverage. Now,
And notice he says mildly alcoholic. And that is important because beers could be brewed to the kind of strengths that we brew them today, but they generally weren't. Because that wasn't the purpose. You weren't brewing beer to brew something that was specifically intoxicating. You were brewing something that was safe to drink.
Yeah, a lot of them were like what 3.2 beers or under 5.
Well,
Let's say 5 or under.
yeah, this is where again the concept of big beers
Yeah.
comes into play there. I just have to show Zosa's comment there. But yeah, this is where the concept of big beers versus small beers comes into play, because small beers were something that you would drink every day. Well, and all the time, every day.
They weren't sure about the science behind that at all. They had lots of different ideas about why the beer was safe to drink. They knew it was safe. They knew it was better than water, that it actually had health-giving properties, that it could make you strong. When we read in Benjamin Franklin's autobiography, he talks about workers. The workers, when they get ready for work, they drink beer, and at lunchtime, they drink beer. It's part of their wages. They know that this strong beer makes them strong. He disagrees with that. He drinks water instead, but they believe that it's a very, very healthy drink.
Strong beer makes you strong. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good philosophy.
Yeah, Ben Franklin did also have I think he had quite a few quotes about beer. I remember one of my favorites is, beer as God exists and he wants us to be happy, or something to that effect.
I want to say we debunked that one at one point.
I think I think you did say that wasn't something he actually said, but.
Yeah, it was a quote that was attributed to him, but there was no. There actually is something that he wrote to that effect. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
At some point.
It got misquoted.
Yeah,
it was something to the effect that it got misquoted over the years. But yeah, that's the way I read it on the side of I think it was Bevmo store with.
Most likely. Yeah. That's that would be the kind of thing that you would read on exactly.
Beer also plays an incredibly important role in the military. Both the land-based forces and the sailors at sea, they are given rations of beer, up to a gallon a day. And if they don't have beer to give these sailors or soldiers, they have to give them a substitute. Something like grog, which is watered down rum. They need something like that to get them through the day. Water isn't good enough for those soldiers.
And what he mentioned, they had like they had a substance that they would wash out the whiskey barrels, and it's called trailings or something like that. And that was like that was a watered down whiskey that they would.
That's interesting.
Also
that makes perfect sense, but I didn't know that. I didn't think about that. Trailings would be just the right name for that too. Yeah. But yeah, a gallon a day of beer. So I guess I shouldn't feel as bad about all the beer that I used to drink.
Yeah.
Of course, then again, it depends on the strength, which I think he's going to get to here. About the various strengths of beer.
Beer was an alternative to water, which might be dangerous to drink, but there was also pressure from the other direction. There were hard liquors that were available at the time, something like gin that was really becoming popular in the early 18th century. That was a giant societal problem, especially in the United Kingdom. Because the gin was so cheap, it was being drank by everyone, children included. And so beer was a much, much better alternative. If the water is dangerous and we don't want them to drink gin, then let's have them drink beer. Now,
That's logical, right? We don't want them drinking the gin, so let's have them drink the beer.
It's like
that sounds like a German thing to me.
A lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
It's like, because there was like a shanty, which is like kind of a like an alcoholic lemonade, I guess, or now it's soda. It's like lemon lime soda or whatever, mixed with some sort of alcohol.
The shandy, yeah.
Yeah.
Penn Brewery has a shandy out right now. It's on the shelf at the local store. Lemonade shandy in this case, but they've done other ones.
Yeah, but that was probably why they had that too, just to add alcohol in it because alcohol purifies it. It takes away the germs. It's an anti-bacterial.
I don't know if the shandies were a direct descendant, but in Germany they had something called the Radler, Radler, and the Radler is the same thing. It's a mix of beer and something else, be it lemonade or fruit juice or something along those lines. Grapefruit Radler is real popular, and but those are typically the alcohol that you would expect from mixing a regular alcohol beer with something that's non-alcoholic. So those are like 2.5% alcohol. They're meant to be very refreshing summer drinks, but they're in no way intoxicating, or unless you're not a drinker.
Hey, who's our mod over on YouTube? Is that like a spam, or I don't know what it is?
Oh no, the Rowland T is legit.
Okay.
Oh, and the one I think you might be looking at is the one on Twitch.
Okay, that's the one I'm looking at.
We always get one of those.
Oh, okay. I see it like aggregated into one, so I'm not sure where it's coming from because I don't have the Twitch app. All right. I usually just depend on that one for YouTube. So
yeah, it aggregates everything except D-Live and Pilled, unfortunately, but it won't aggregate those two. By the way, speaking of, shout out, thank you to Zoso Dude for the 577 gold pills. We really appreciate that.
And I want to say hi to
what the hell is even that?
Q&A holes right before that.
That's not what I meant to hit.
What?
Yeah. All right, that was interesting. All right, well, let's move on a little bit with this. There's not too much more of this left.
Their beer is different than our beer today. And there are lots of different kinds of beer in our time period. There is strong beer, there's common beer, there's table beer, there's small beer. Now,
that's a good distinction right there. I referred to them as big beers, but he called them strong beers. That's the same thing. All the way down to table beers and then small beers.
Well, that almost sounds like a beer. A table beer almost sounds like a Chianti. Because I always thought of Chianti as a table wine. So
these are probably a little weaker than our beers today. They had a much more difficult time extracting all the sugars out of their grains, and their yeasts weren't as, let's say, efficient as the yeast strains that we have today. So we can generally think that a strong beer.
So before he says that, those are some very good points. So not only do we have more refined, more genetically processed strains of yeast, where White Labs, for example, is where everybody gets their yeast. You may even see White Labs show up a little later on. Keep an eye out for that. White Labs is where everybody buys their yeast because White Labs cultivates yeast for pretty much the entire brewing and wine industry. And they do it very, very scientifically. So when you get a vial of yeast from White Labs, it's going to be the exact strain that's going to produce the exact alcohol and the exact flavors that you're looking for. And by the way, tends to be very expensive. A vial I could easily hold in my hand of Hefeweizen yeast, for example, was about $1,300 the last time I bought some, and that was a long time ago.
That's live yeast. Like when you're home brewing, you generally use the powdered yeast or
the packet yeast.
Yeah.
This
Now,
is White Labs delivers everything live. Yeah, on dry ice.
there was a homebrew place here in Culver City. I don't think it's still there. That used to sell live yeast of and it was cultivated from home brewers. So that was pretty interesting. I know quite a few bakers that have cultivated their own yeast for like bread, for sourdough. So
Oh yeah,
it's interesting.
indeed. And TL points out you can do crazy things like make beer with champagne yeast.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, that's actually referred to as a brut beer,
Yeah.
BRUT, or BRU with some kind of.
And that's a Belgium style. Belgium styles did that a lot. You get like more effervescent beer from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As well as like a lot of now, the smaller breweries here in America do that. There was one called I can't think of it now. Lost Abbey, right by me. Well, down in San Diego, that
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of those style beers. So.
Indeed. Well, yeah, with the craft breweries or the microbreweries, they're mixing all kinds of things up. I mean, you've got them, making lagers with ale yeast, but lager temperatures and vice versa, and all kinds of
They're
crazy.
crossbreeding hops, doing all sorts of things they're not supposed to be doing. They weren't allowed to do in Europe. So
Cats and dogs sleeping together. Indeed. All right, well let's get to the good numbers here. So he is just about to unveil the numbers.
It might be 8% alcohol, and a standard beer is definitely going to be something like 3 or 4%. And table beers and small beers, which the children and women are more likely to drink, are maybe 0.5% or 1% in alcohol. In places like Great Britain and
So, yeah, half a percent. So
half a
you
percent,
can see,
and he included women in there, which I'm sure a lot of women today would not be like to be included with the children there.
No. Nowadays, I think we do have equal rights when it comes to drinking high ABV beers. I don't think there's any.
Although the alcohol percentage did go down during like World War II, and the lagers and pilsners became more popular because the men weren't really around to drink the higher alcohol ones because they were off at war. And so they wanted the light beers and all that stuff, they wanted to market to the women.
Yeah. Didn't we blame wine coolers on women too?
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was more of I think, a fashion thing, keeping in fit and, a dietary, yeah.
That's
thing.
a good point. Yeah,
It wasn't so much the alcohol; it was just lower calories. It was calories mainly, so where everybody was trying to be healthier. Because
indeed.
I'm sure these beers have a lot in calories. Yeah,
But you did hear at the beginning there, he did say that the strong beers were strong beers. They were 8% at the top end. So that is pretty comparable. I mean, you get some beers that are higher than that, but your typical strong beers are up in the 7s and 8s.
Yeah, the beer I normally drink is 7.6, I think it is. It's but those are the average IPAs I drink, are in the sevens. This is actually low for me. This is yeah, like I said, 5.8, which is kind of low for me. I've been doing, but I haven't been drinking a lot of the stronger beers lately. Last week I did the Day Fest, which was what, a 4.7, and this one's a 5.8. So I actually haven't been drinking those higher beers lately. I haven't been drinking as much lately. I just yeah.
Yeah,
Getting older.
certainly. Well,
North America, beer is a working man's drink, and it's drank by everyone. That means the brewer is very, very important. And in many places, he's very highly regulated because this drink is so important to society. So beer can only have very particular ingredients. For example, the beer that we're talking about today, that we'll be making, was actually illegal in the early 18th century for brewers to make. It was very simple. It used molasses to create the beer, so it was very easy to make, very inexpensive. It became regulated or even banned in this setting, I think because it makes a kind of a substitute beer that's very inexpensive to make, and they could pass it off as something that had much better ingredients.
So that's really interesting that, it wasn't just Germany that had a purity law. Germany, of course, had the Reinheitsgebot, which said if you were going to call something beer, that it could only have, at the time, 3 ingredients in it. They found out about yeast later. But hops, barley, and water, that was it. Those were your ingredients. But it wasn't quite as stringent in the United States, but they did have a rule in early colonial America saying that it was illegal to brew beer with molasses because it was too easy.
up until the earlier 2000s, in certain southern states, there was still not only dry counties, but you couldn't sell beer over 5%. Or in certain states, you couldn't sell beer over 3.4
Yeah, 3.2.
in 3.2 in certain stores. You had to go to a special store for that, and that was all the way up until
I
the beginning
remember
of this
that. I think it was Kansas
century.
that might have been that I was. It was someplace out in the Midwest like that I went to in the 1980s, and I was completely baffled because I went to the grocery store and they had beer at the grocery store, which I wasn't used to because in Pennsylvania you always had to go to a dedicated beer store to buy beer, but only up to 3.2%. And then if you wanted something stronger than that, then you had to go to a liquor store. And it's like, wait, liquor stores are for liquor. That's not for beer.
That's the way
it was completely foreign to me because it's not the way it works in Pennsylvania.
I was baffled when I went to Colorado in the early 2000s because that's the way it was. And these were like name brand beers, like Newcastle. I thought, I'll buy some Newcastle at the grocery store. And then I started drinking them. I was like, what's wrong with these beers? And then somebody I was with, did you buy it at the grocery store? I was like, yeah. What's a big deal? And they're like, oh, it's 3.2. And they explained that all to me. And I was baffled because I could buy, beer at the gas station where I live. I still can. Actually, I can go into a gas station and buy beer. So.
Now, I went through the whole revolution here. In Pennsylvania, we have some of the strictest, I mean, not quite as strict as, say, Utah, but still pretty ridiculous. It was, I was in high school before you could buy beer anywhere other than a beer store. I remember when the first sandwich stores opened up to be able to sell 6-packs. And a little known fact, Pizza Hut has been selling beer since the 1970s. They've actually had the the license to do that.
The first place I bought beer with a fake ID was a Pizza Hut.
Probably.
It wasn't even a fake ID.
Sense.
I just changed the numbers on my. Okay, back when I was younger, the IDs were paper. Well, sort of
Right.
paper. And I took a pencil and I changed some numbers. And I went in to a Pizza Hut and bought a pitcher of beer 3 months before my 21st birthday because I changed the 5 to a 3. Made my birthday St. Patrick's Day, by the way. It was also St. Patrick's Day, so it was kind of hectic. But yeah, that was at a Pizza Hut. Maybe it was a Shakey's. I don't remember now. But the pizza place I worked at sold beer in high school. But I wasn't allowed to serve it or do anything until I was 18. So that was another part of the place. So
Indeed. All right. Well, the rest of that video is actually the process of making molasses beer, which I'm not going to show for several reasons, one of which it wasn't part of tonight's intended program. For another, YouTube might not appreciate the showing of the making of a beer, which is technically illegal.
Oh, you're not? What? It's illegal?
I don't know if you're still. I don't know if it's still legal or not.
I think I made a video once of me making homebrew. Didn't we do that before? I don't remember. I don't know.
That's interesting. Actually, it turns out not only can you make beer with molasses, but it's the cheat for a lot of stouts and porters. Not the real good ones. But the cheap ones that want to taste like rich dark beer, they'll sneak molasses into the mix.
I've used molasses in my homebrew only for a bottle conditioning, and the other way to do bottle conditioning is with corn sugar. But those are a few things. I've tried honey. I tried molasses. I've tried a couple other things. But
I got some kind of carbonation drops the last time I bottled. They were little, we put one in each bottle and seal it up, and it dissolves.
Yeah, those are fairly new. Like when I was doing homebrew in the early 2000s and the late 90s, I don't think those were around yet, but I've thought about using those. They're like Pepto-Bismol tablets, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Except I think they're basically pure sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, honestly, that is what I have. I'm really hoping that Bruce catches up with us for the Bruce on the Loose because, to be honest, when we come back from intermission, we're going to be winging it otherwise. I think I probably still have some cooking stuff left over here, but with Hawk's audio still offline and Bruce out, we're going to really be winging it here after intermission.
I'm sure we can talk about beer. Like I almost jumped the gun on. That's the first time I've seen that video. I almost jumped the gun on it with the water and the purification of the water and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's plenty of talk about beer. Maybe we can answer some questions from the audience.
There's that too. All right. Well, with that then, we will go ahead and run an intermission here. Tonight's intermission is brought to you by Star Wars Episode 7, The Beer Awakens.
Kill me!
Turn around and stay. Turn around and stay. Turn around.
What do you think, Luke? Ray?
It's gonna be a different shot.
This is. Oh my god. I'll be in my trailer if you need me. Jesus.
Norm, you're muted.
All right. No, I realized I was muted. I love how like artistic they try to make that. It was like a
well, it made as much sense as the actual movie. Maybe more.
I do want to say something. I am going to be doing something quite unusual I don't normally do. I'm going to switch up my beer for the second half of the show. The red ale was great. It's just really hot here. And it was a heavy beer for a hot day. And usually like the heavier, thicker beers, I like to enjoy on when cooler weather, let's say, than the hotter weather. So I'm going to switch this up to IPA. I think I have had this one on the show before. Not sure if I've had it recently. It's from Lost Coast Brewing, and this is called Indica IPA. Indica, or not sure how to pronounce it. It's an awful lot like a strain of an herb, but it's in a bottle.
It sounds similar to, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what is that? A Ganesh? That's a elephant, which is a Hindu god, Ganesha,
right?
Ganesha. I'm not sure how to pronounce that either. And my bottle opener is stuck to the table. It's been that long.
I hate when that happens.
Since I've used it, I have a little side table here, but I do have a backup one. Don't look at it because it's Miller Lite. Good. I thought it was Bud Light for a minute, but it is a Miller Lite one. So I'm just gonna, and this one's a what is it, 6.5, I believe, alcohol per volume. So it's a higher alcohol, but usually the IPAs are a little bit more refreshing on these hot days, and sometimes the heavier ones kind of stick in my gut on a hotter day. So got another beer glass that isn't cooled, although the last one was cooled until I was out here for a few minutes. And...
yeah, till it sat outside for 3 minutes, and then
yeah. But this is like I said, it's an IPA from Lost Coast. Lost Coast is from Eureka, not to be confused with North Coast, which is up there too in Fort Bragg. Not Eureka, is it? The place that all the pot is from. Where is that? Humboldt, up in that area. So, yeah, it is Eureka. I get Eureka and Yreka confused sometimes, which are two different places. But one's on the coast, and this is up in the Humboldt Nation.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I used to buy a lot of chemicals from the Humboldt Nation.
Yeah. I know quite a few people that went to school there. So
Humboldt County was a brand actually at the hydroponics store.
Well, yeah, this is a little bit more refreshing. A little bit, like I said, it's a heavier in alcohol, but a lighter tasting beer. It won't stick in my gut. It's not. The other one's kind of it wasn't that it was a bad beer. It's just for today. Sometimes you need to plan your beer, like when you're eating food and you're pairing the beer. You have to also pair it on the weather and other things like that. And this is a lot more refreshing. So, yep.
Indeed.
drinking a lot of water with the other one too. Probably still will.
And Hawk sent us in a message. He cannot get back on the show. Evie Mux is either possessed or he's hanging out on an unmarked Indian burial ground.
Oh.
Either way, he is or his phone at least is cursed tonight. So
I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I think I think I know what I may know. I was doing I was playing around with EV Mux, and I may know why I hate the iPhone so much, Hawk. I tried to use it with Safari, which is the iPhone default browser. I use Brave on mine, but I've had problems with Brave. And when I try to use EV Mux on Safari, it told me to download Chrome, which really kind of sucks because I can't get
yeah.
Chrome and a combination of Chrome and OBS in unison just seems to blow up my processor. Even though it running one or the other seems to let my processors are at lower or normal levels or lower, which is I still kind of baffled by that. I even turned off my virus protection while I'm running it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm deathly afraid of updating anything for fear that everything will break. So I'm still running on Windows 10. I'm still running on old versions of OBS and everything else because I just don't want to update anything because I'm afraid everything's going to break.
I have a problem at work that I have to keep everything updated to at least a supported operating system and
right
the the last operating system that's supported currently in macOS is Ventura, which seems to work everything fine once I upgrade to Sonoma or Sequoia, which are the next two, and the next one I can't remember the name of it. It's coming out soon. There seems to be a problem working remotely in Photoshop, and I still haven't figured out that issue. So if anybody knows the problem I'm talking about, I would love to talk to them about it. It's just
yeah, unfortunately, all of these machines that I the things like the one I run OBS on and the one I stream from and all that stuff, those are all appliance machines. So those ones I really don't care. I don't need them to be on the latest version of the software.
yeah.
What I'm really dreading is when I got to finally break down and upgrade my daily driver because the machine that surfs the internet every day, that one, come October, that one really can't be Windows 10 anymore.
Does I know Firefox, Mozilla Firefox makes a version of Firefox called Extended Service Release for the old Macintosh OS that they still update. Actually, does Windows do a similar? Because
Windows is going to have, and as a matter of fact, from what I've seen, you can actually sign up for it right now. Windows is going to do an extended service program. For corporations, it's paid. But I think for individuals, there might be an option. I might have seen somewhere where somebody said there's an option right now where you can get signed up for it so that for some period of time you will be able to get extended updates. October is the official end of life of Windows 10.
I know a lot of the ATMs back in the Y2K days were still running on like Windows XP when Windows 2000 was coming out, and they couldn't basically update the drivers for some of the stuff from Windows XP to 2000 or something to that effect, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, no, they're all very different, and sooner or later, something is going to come out that I want to use that's not going to support Windows 10 anymore either.
I still have
some piece of software.
I still have a Windows 10 machine at home that I actually haven't booted up in a couple months, but I because I think one of the video drivers or something won't update to 11. I know my workaround to Macintosh. The Macintosh, usually you can get a supported OS up until 10 years for because they go back 3 OSs, and they'll support them for machinery that's 10 years old. And then that's when they usually run the end of service for the OS, which is why the other week we were talking about like a 2014 machine where it's having, and I was like, well, that's the end. That 10 years, it's usually that 10-year mark for Mac OS that they will not support. So, and sometimes depending on whether it's a desktop, a laptop, or whatever, they might even do something even more. But there's usually a workaround that will. It's already out of warranty, so who cares about the warranty? But there's usually a workaround that you could actually patch it with a third party open source patch, and the Mac OS one to do that with the operating system is called OpenCore. So, but I'm sure he's not here anymore. Or here this week. Who was that? The Geek Master was having that.
Dustin was asking questions. Yeah, from Geekmen and the Thunder Nerds.
Yeah,
was asking.
Have him contact me
questions.
if I have time. I will definitely help him out with that. I have two of those laptops that I know exactly what he's talking about. I upgraded one of them. One of them was the last laptop that actually Apple released the NVIDIA card in, because they went over. They dropped NVIDIA support over 10 years ago, and they went with Radeon. And now 5 years ago they dropped that and went to their own M1 or M2 or Silicon, basically.
Yeah, now it's all integrated Mac, right?
It's all Silicon. It's all it's an M4 now. I think the M5, if it's coming out or it just came out, I'm not sure, but yeah. Which is actually a great processor, by the way. It's from the stuff I've worked on, very fast, as long as you're running the latest software. No 32-bit software anymore. That's another thing. So, and also when they went to 64-bit architecture, all the software companies went to subscription base, which is very fun as well. So,
and they're just, as you said that, my lower left screen just went blank. That means that my video driver on my the machine that I use to monitor the chats just went out. Yep, it's blown up all right. Let's see if it comes back long enough for the show. Yeah, it did, but now I've got an AMD bug report up on the screen, and my mouse without borders isn't working, so I can't get over to that screen without picking up the mouse for that machine.
I found a workaround for that. Maybe it was only Mac, though. But the mouse without borders sort of thing, where I can move the mouse between the two screens.
Yeah.
Basically from my laptop to my desktop, but it was another...
Yeah, it was actually Belushi who turned me on to that years and years ago, when I said that I was running multiple machines. Belushi and I, I've got 3 keyboards in front of me and 3 mice in front of me, and Belushi's like, "Did you ever check out Mouse Without Borders?" So I wrote that down, and it was probably 6 months before I actually checked it out. But once I did, I've never gone back. Now I've got one mouse controlling 3 different machines across 6 different monitors, and it's pretty slick.
It's a great virtual...
As long as none of the machines crash. But if one of the machines crash, that's a problem. But that's why I have this particular mouse that I have here. If you look closely, let me get the buttons up there. At the bottom of the mouse, there's actually a button that I can press. 1, 2, 3. This is a Logitech. It's actually got 3 dongles. So I've got dongles in each of the machines. So if I have to, I can switch the mouse from one machine to the other machine to the other machine just by tapping the side of the mouse.
I had a keyboard like that would do
Yeah,
Bluetooth, but it wasn't dongled. It was actually straight Bluetooth. Yeah.
Yeah, the MX keyboard does the same thing. You can see the 1, 2, and 3 on there. So I can just tap the keyboard and the mouse and get over to one of the machines if it crashes off at the mouse without borders.
Mine was a
Tech is fun stuff.
Jellycomb keyboard that did that, but eventually all three of the Bluetooth went out. I bought another one. That one went out. Now I can't buy the keyboard anymore. So I just went back to Mac Alley. But I got to check out that mouse. No, but do they have the form factor like that? I like the vertical form factor.
The this is a pretty fat mouse. I believe they do have another one that's got more of that that sideways, but this is the MX series. I want to say this is a Logitech MX, and it's specifically for multiple machines. And each of those 3 connections can either be to a Logitech dongle, you know, one of the little USB dongles, or to a Bluetooth.
Okay. Cool.
So you compare it to either one. You compare it to a direct Bluetooth, or you compare it to a dongle.
I have to check that out. I really, yeah, because I used to have a keyboard like that. It's virtually like a KBM, like a. Because I use the KBM too, so.
Except all my machines have separate monitors on them, so I don't need to change that up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very fascinating. I got to get that.
Logitech MX series. It's actually real nice. So.
But one thing that
Roger says he used to love his trackball. I used to have a trackball. I know where it is on the shelf. I don't use it anymore, but
I had a Kingston trackball myself. Yeah, I probably still have. Yeah, I probably still have all my trackball. My first laptop had a trackball as well. My first Macintosh. Only you have to keep those clean though. You get lint in those things, and they or a little if you're eating pizza while you're. Yeah, you get grease on the track.
Yeah, right. Yeah, indeed.
Well,
and quick shout out, hello to David's Dog Spa over on Rumble. I don't know if that's one of your buddies, Norm, or just somebody who popped in.
I've seen him before there, but thank you for some. Yeah, I've seen him here on Rumble on our channel. I don't think I've seen him on any of the other panels I've jumped into, but. Good to see you. That's a very important job, by the way. I loved my dog groomer when I had my dogs. Actually.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, you know, we know that's what Bruce does. Runs a pet hotel.
Yeah. This is about the time that my friend Brocky normally pops in. I haven't talked to him in a little while, so I don't know if he's lurking or if he's just busy with his kid. I know he said he's got to be busy, so it's family stuff on this weekend. A lot of people probably do have family things going on, but it's long weekend. So cheers for everybody that did stop by. Thank you. Well, we still got half an hour of the show left, though.
Indeed. Yeah, and Syllabor says he's seen Dave's Dog Spa over at Badlands Media, so that's another channel to check out.
Yeah, over there on Rumble, we got some friends over there.
Find
Red Pill
on Badlands. You can find Brad and
Red Pill
Abby.
Brad and Abby, Zach, Payne.
Mm-hmm.
Old friends of the show. Yeah, Brad was one of our first guests.
Mm-hmm.
Old friend.
And Bruce just did an interview with him fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
And if Bruce doesn't get in here pretty soon, I'm going to resort to playing his video without him. Because
we can do a reaction video on it. That would be fun.
All right. Well, I can make that happen.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're a friend of Drunk Beato. Drunk Beato is an old friend of the show too. He was on. He was a call-in on our show like way back when we were talking about homebrew. He's a
Yeah,
good
and
guy.
then we had him. We had him as a guest because I
Yeah,
remember putting the pinata on the show cover.
he's a good guy. We've known him for a long time before we even started doing our show. We watched him on Idol's show. We're all yeah.
Let me just looking that one up
So,
there. There it is. Brews and Views with Drunk Pinata. That was episode number 234. First aired September 2024, so not all that long ago.
oh. And it's funny those pianos. I bought one at the like 99-cent store when we still had 99-cent stores here before they went bankrupt. But I driving home the other day, and my neighbor had one of those pinatas in their front yard for some reason. I had no idea why, but it was funny because I thought of Drunk Pinata, and then he rated our show was it either last weekend or the weekend before that? So
Yeah, we got a raid recently from Drunk Pinata, indeed.
So
John Rogers says, I was watching Drunk Pinata before this. So, yeah, and that's also a reminder that if you ever wonder, you can find our catalog of back shows at 3beermen.tv. I went in and searched for Pinata and came up with that. But if you're ever wondering if we've ever had a beer on the show, go in, type in that beer, and if it comes up, then...
I'll give it a week or so. Yeah, it's not instant, by the way. So, but Bruce Wayne is in the chat, so maybe he will. He says he loves your shirt. Maybe he will join us.
Yeah,
But,
that would be good timing because if not, we're going to play the video without him. That's...
Yeah. And Willie put a Drunk Piata sticker. Willie, I know you called me, wish me a happy 4th. Sorry, I had such a headache the other night. Actually, on Friday night and last night, I had a headache. I've only gotten like 4 hours of sleep because I had a sinus migraine. I've been laying down a lot, and so sorry I didn't answer your call. I feel a little bit better now. But yeah, I've been having these weirdly bad sinus migraines lately. I'm not sure if it's allergies or I don't know. It's been tough to sleep, but I haven't been drinking beer a lot, like I said, either. So
Indeed, it was. Ironically, it was COVID that caused me to give up beer. It was COVID that made me sick enough to not drink for 2 weeks, and that's what I needed. I needed to just not drink for 2 weeks, and that's.
I drink maybe twice a week now, but yeah, the last couple nights I've had these sinus migraines. I've been getting about 2 hours of sleep a night. Hopefully, it won't affect my work. Actually, I'm feeling all right now, but it's just very strange. I've been trying to lie down and go to sleep. I just can't because my I don't know. It's certain times of the year, maybe I think it's dehydration or something. I don't know.
Quick shout out and hello, by the way, to Lori Calcaterra over on the Madness Entertainment Group over on the YouTube. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys don't remember Lori, she was on the show. You can go back and look on 3beermen.tv and see when she was on. And you can also check out Path of the Pale Rider, which is an excellent comic series. I'm not sure if there's an edition funding right now, but by all means, check it out. It's a great series.
Yeah, that was a great show, by the way. So if you haven't seen it, really great show, great guest.
And
Yeah.
and yes, Lori says the wooden cover uh, turned out great. Yes, and yes, it really did. This is gorgeous. It's hand cut. It's lasered by Lori, and it's a really nice piece. The lighting that I have in here really doesn't do justice to just how nice it is. But I'll try and get some flashes in there so you can see it. But yeah, very nice piece of work, and as I said, very nice artwork inside as well. So definitely check it out.
If you're not into graphic novels, it looks like a very nice book.
Indeed. All right. Well, are we going to resort to playing Bruce's video without him? He's still working on the Wi-Fi. He says.
Well, let's try to give him some motivate. Maybe we'll give him some motivation to get it in there. So.
Well, that would do it. All right, Bruce. Well, we're gonna play your video, and then you're gonna have to come in and explain it.
Hey guys, this is Bruce on the loose, and I'm over at my brother's neighbor's house. He's a retired fireman from here in New York. Actually, not retired anymore. Are you retired? Are you still out there? So he still does it, but he built a bar in his backyard, guys. You got to see this. This is fucking wild. So wait, this is what I saw coming up. I'm going to turn around. Hold on. Ready? Through the back gate, and it's literally lit up like a bar. It serves cold beer. He's got the Budweiser sign. He's got taps. He's got empty bottles of alcohol up there. He's got his own little kegerator. Fuck, dude, you went all out, bro. Good for you. So, guys, this is Gerard, my brother's neighbor, and this guy used to have some of the greatest, most epic fireworks displays back in the day on July 4th, and we think we may be getting another one coming up next year for the 250th anniversary. It is going to be glorious. All right, guys. I'm Bruce Q. Wayne, and this is Bruce on the loose, guys. God bless. Peace out, and happy Independence Day. Later.
So that looked like an epic, like a beach, something you'd see on the beach.
Pretty damned epic backyard bar. Absolutely, yeah. Rick Carmen says NASCAR fan. Yeah, I think there was some NASCAR in there.
Yeah. What NASCAR fan doesn't have a bar? Actually, I got rid of my bar when I moved last. Most places I've lived, I've had a bar. Except for this place. It's a little too small. I just have my he hut, is what she calls it. And that's where I broadcast from. I used to broadcast from my bar. But yeah. But not quite like a beachside. That was like a beachside Bahamas sort of something you might see in the Bahamas or something like that. I was like a nice little, because that's the way they designed them, the 3-corner round. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was convinced when we bought this house that we live in now that I was going to put a bar in the downstairs room. There's a room that's perfect for it down there. I mounted the TV on the wall that would have been the TV for behind the bar, but still have not built the bar, and that's 18 years later. So I'm probably not going to get around to building the bar. Especially since I don't really drink. If I was ever going to build a bar, it would have been back in 2020 when I installed the kegerator up here in the studio, because that's when it would have made the most sense. But,
the control room studio.
Right.
Yeah, out here in my he hut, as I call it, I do have a screen for a projector. I don't have a TV, but I do have a screen I don't use. But over there in the corner, I could actually bring it down up, and I have a projector that I can actually project onto it instead of a TV, because that's what you do outside, I guess. So, yeah, I see Bruce.
Hey, there he is. There he is.
Hey, guys.
All right.
Hold on one second. I'll let you say hello to my grandson. Say hi, Eliezer. Say hi, everybody.
Where's his mustache? Where's his mustache?
He doesn't have one yet. He'll grow it.
I thought everybody was born with a mustache in your family. Yeah.
Say goodnight. Good night. He's got to go to bed, so he's saying goodnight.
Bye.
All right, buddy. Mwah. Cheepa loves you. All right. Hey, so the video was pretty much self-explanatory, as I guess you saw. There were several other videos that kind of compilation to the end of what that was. I don't know if you got a chance to get all of them.
I only got that one.
Oh,
unless
okay.
They're in Discord.
There were
that was
others,
the only one that I saw on Telegram.
They may not have loaded.
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get.
I was having
that was
trouble.
The only one I got in.
Yeah, I was having trouble downloading that one actually, so I was kind of bummed. But so I'm wearing my beer, barbecue, and freedom shirt tonight. But Kaz, I love what you're wearing there. That's really cool.
Yeah,
did you make that one?
BeerMen. That's the BeerMen shirt. Yep. And yeah, Bruce, there was a lot of bar envy going on out there in the chats when we were playing that video. There was a lot of I need that. That's a neat setup. Beautiful.
He made
nice backyard.
Yeah, he made that with some friends and built it out, and he lives out of that. I mean, he's semi-retired. He is still a fireman, but he's also a civil engineer, and he's semi-retired, so he's just doing his own thing. But there are photos. If you go to Discord, I put a bunch of photos with some of the stuff in the and around the bar, so you can see the decor, because he really decked it out nicely.
I can do. There we go.
So, first, this is Happy Independence Day to everybody, belated. But that was on Friday, and I went over to my brother's house, and we had a big old barbecue, as he always does every year. And that's my brother Paz. And the next picture, I think, is the steaks on the grill. So yeah, he was grilling up some meat for sure. He had a good time with that. Go to the next one. You can see a couple of different people. So there are the wives of my friends that we were all there. Next picture, I think, is the husbands. There's the husbands. A couple of them anyway. But keep going. We got another one. So those are my friends. They're all hanging out. These are the same crew we've been hanging out with for the last 20 years on July 4th every year. It's pretty cool. We get to hang out with them. All right.
It's nice to have a little
get together every now and then. Yeah. Yeah. Well, friends and family.
Yeah.
My ex-wife was there too, but I didn't pay any attention to her. Keep going. So there's my brother making sure everybody's got something and everybody's happy. Plenty of coolers with plenty of beer and plenty of water to go around. Everybody was drinking something. Go ahead to the next. And there's more of the wives, more of the husbands, I'm sorry. So the guy standing up all the way to the left is Isaac, Shalom in the striped shirt, Steve the bald guy, Harold next to him, and then me, of course, in the foreground. And that looks like Jamie, my niece, walking in the door behind me.
Is that his name, Steve the bald guy? I mean,
yes, I call him Steve the bald guy because he's bald Steve, and then we have regular Steve, and then we have Stevie B here in our chats.
The identifiers. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm mustache, so. All right, let's see what else we got. Is this the bar pictures next? Let's see. Yes. So this is the back. This is the inside of the bar. He's got all his koozies up on the top shelf, and keep going if you can. There was a video I took of 2 fire trucks that he had customized, but I guess you didn't get the videos. They didn't download properly because I had no service when I was driving in, and I tried sending them all to the Telegram. But the roof, as you can see, is nothing more than just corrugated aluminum, and it's just a very nicely framed, slightly tilted backwards. It cantilevers up so the rain can come down and still keep the bar patrons covered. And he's got little bar stools and everything. I mean, he really went all out on this bar. Go ahead.
I think the next one is the last one, and I did just double check, Bruce. Yeah, nothing else came across in the Telegram. That was
yeah.
It. And I think
that's a shame because I sent like 8 more videos. So that's a really cool sign from Rheingold Extra Dry. It's not old. It's actually a reproduction that was made to look vintage, which was really cool. But
they call that retro.
Too bad
right?
I didn't. Retro, yeah.
Where a vintage would be original and a retro would be a reproduction. I think is
yes
the way the kids put it. I don't know. It's actually really cool.
So I just hit refresh on the Telegram. All the videos are there, but they didn't download. That said retry. So I just hit retry. I don't know if you're going to have time to really go into them and look, but I did an extensive video of the bar, and I did it in shorts. So you'll get to see 4 or 5 videos at different segments of the bar that show what it is. I did send you other pictures, but apparently those didn't go through either because he has a slushy machine that he uses to make slushy margaritas with, and they're wild. They're wild. He really
stick them in
like,
the other.
He should have been a bartender.
No, I don't see him.
No, he probably didn't go through like these others didn't go through.
As long as he's a recreational bartender, that's better than just like a academic or
an everyday bartender. Yeah, no, he's a recreational bartender, but he recreations every day.
yeah. Well, yeah, because a recreational, usually somebody that does it recreationally does it for the passion, not necessarily the career. So,
yeah. All right. Those videos seem to have downloaded now, all but one. So if you give it another minute, you may be able to. I don't know if you have the ability to pull up them from Telegram now, this late in the show, but
no way to do it directly. I'd have to pull it down and move it over and put it in, but I'm still. It's still showing as sending a video here. I'm not seeing any new stuff.
Okay.
By the time it's over, the show will be over. So
time to go. Yeah. I'm trying to find the other photos that I took because I had some really good ones of the bar. Slushy machine. Here we go. He went all out with this bar, like ridiculously crazy all out with this bar.
Well, like I was saying, it reminds me of something you might see, even though I haven't been to the Bahamas or Cancun or any place like that.
Right, exactly. Like a fancy style bar.
I've seen that style in movies and TV shows, but yeah, I haven't. Well, actually, and San Diego and Tijuana also has those kind of bars. But yeah, it
70% Cosmac.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in the video, and again, I'll still. It'll take me a few minutes to download it and bring it over. I don't have any ability to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, they've all downloaded
through,
all.
So.
It
there
might
you go,
take
all 5.
More production than we have time, but
and that's fine. If that's fine.
Pick one, and I'll show you what I go through to get it over. So.
The
first
there's one that's 4.5 minutes that really does detail on the bar. It's the first one.
All right, so if I do save as, and I bring that down into this week's folder, okay, 6, bring that into the Bruce, we'll call that video number 2. Okay, so save, and now I'm downloading the video.
Okay.
So that's going to take a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it took several minutes to download the first time, and it obviously didn't work. So, yeah.
And after I download the video, then I have to move it over to the broadcast machine. I have to load it up in OBS.
And I know which machine that is because I've been in your studio. I know.
Yes, you have. Okay.
But, yeah, I didn't mean to swamp you the other day.
Good.
Hello. That was fun. I didn't mean to swamp you the other day with all those videos. I just started, grabbing stuff and posting it right away, not realizing that I posted things like 3 and 4 times that I went through and cleaned them out. But I don't know if you used anything first half of the show. I had no Wi-Fi at Grandma Rita's house.
That's why the posts didn't go through, probably.
All right, so let me. Okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm copying.
Well, no,
that
I
to the
sent them
broadcast.
early this afternoon while I was driving up here. Come in.
Okay, so I copied that to the
downstairs.
broadcast machine. Now I am loading it up as video number 2.
So, guys, we're still here.
Okay, so here we go. Now I got it loaded up. So that's what I have to go through in real time to move one video over from Telegram to somewhere where I can show it during the show. So that just gives you an idea of how much stall time or how much lag time it takes.
Right, and that's the biggest one. That's the 4.5 minute one.
Well, the size wouldn't really matter. It's the number of steps that I have to go through to get it from where it is in Telegram to where I need it to be in OBS in order to be able to, So it's just that number of steps. All right.
Gotcha.
Now
So is it loaded and ready to play?
Yep, it's ready. Here we
Night
go.
night, Lori Calcaterra. We're still here at Gerard's bar and just ogling things.
She was actually saying goodnight to the little one, Bruce, to your grandy.
Oh, yeah.
She said night,
he
Munchkin.
Went back to bed already. Munchkin, okay, gotcha. It's from the inside of the bar looking out. You got to see this, the way he decorated, even the inside facing into him while he's bartending. And so this is a slushy machine that he just got. I got pictures that Cosmac's going to show you guys later. It breaks it down into a variety of different kinds of drinks that you can have, from a slushy to a milkshake. And it's all because of this tube inside here that it gets super cold. Is that what happens? And then we were looking up here, and he's got all his koozies in some hanging up there. And then he's got some really cool fire trucks. Let me zoom in. Those are those models?
So Code 3 makes limited edition things for all different.
Code 3, the manufacturer, the diecast car company.
Right.
Yes.
So I took those trucks that are Comac trucks, and I actually took pictures of the trucks, and then I made my own decals and put them on the truck. So
you customized
them. I made Comac trucks.
That's cool. That's really. I'm a customizer. I used to make toys for Hasbro and Mattel back in the day. I would mock stuff up. That's great.
I mean, if you look close, it's
right. You can tell
down here. It's cool.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. It looks like the Comac logos. Everything's Comac.
I did not know what I was doing.
And then you've got your stemware hanging from the ceiling. Did you hand make that or did you buy it that way?
The salty mix of
I actually had this built, and the guys gave.
That's cool. Just amazing. And the glassware, you've got all different kinds of glassware. You got your kegerator, you've got your little mini fridge down here. So this is looking behind the bar, guys. This is just, a bunch of memorabilia. Very cool stuff. The lights, of course, you got to get the lights going.
Does he have
batteries
the
are dead or too much moisture out here? There you go. That's cool.
What's that, Norm?
Did he find
in
the
bottles
lost
too? I have a
shaker
Batman
of
one
salt?
like that on a wine
It
bottle.
looks like he's wasting
She
away in
actually-
Margaritaville.
Batman.
It looks like he's wasting
even
away.
the dark one. Look at you, all out. Flickering.
He has.
So flicker.
You see the tap handles? As the tap handles mounted onto the wall, and
Looks like the
he
battery's
can
dying.
screw them if he wants and put them on the curator if he's got a specific flavor he needs to highlight.
Very cool.
Here's good to go. So.
Oh yeah,
And you're an IPA guy.
It's a Firehouse Brewing.
I'm a stout man. I like my stouts. But very cool. The bar stools, everything's ready to go. He's got a beautifully manicured backyard. Looks like he's got a hot tub over here on my right. Swimming pool to the left. What a great backyard. I guess you spend a lot of time back here.
If I had a bed out here, I'd be living out here.
All you need is a cot, Gerard. You can put a cot back here or a chaise lounge chair and you're out, dude. With some blankets, you could live out here. That's a fan up there? You got a fan up there? There you go.
This piece on the door.
Very cool, bro. You did a nice job. Did you do all the deco yourself? Any hour is happy hour, guys. I love it. And he's got a spiral. He's got beer can airplanes. He's got a Pirates flag. Look at him. He's got it all. His Firehouse flag over here. Just some really cool deco. Yes, and appreciate you, Jared. All right, guys. For 3BeerMen, I'm Bruce on the Loose, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out from Batman.
So there you go. That was his bar. I did try sending some more pictures through to you. Don't know if Telegram and the Discord. I apologize, Discord, so you can show more views of the bar.
It sort of reminds me of a Jimmy Buffett song. Wasting away in Margaritaville. So.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
Oh, it sort of reminds me of a Jimmy Buffett song.
Yes.
I'm guessing that Bruce is behind because I've got video up and he's not seeing it. Yep, his Wi-Fi is going spotty on us.
Yeah. It's a great bar. Well, any bar is a great bar that you create. So if I'm assuming that he has like stuff that rolls down, like canvases that roll down during the weather. So
he does put tarps on it in the winter time. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to create a shower curtain rod outside of it that he could do one side, the other side, and then the two-part in the middle. And he's planning on doing that this summer so he can close it off. And the TV set that's out there, he wraps the TV up in winter jackets and plastic bags, large jumbo plastic bags. It's like a 50-inch flat screen TV.
If he's looking, well, they sell covers for those, but if he's looking for like cover, look at the back of my tent. They have covers that actually do that sort of thing.
Right. Well, no, he's already got them. He just needs to put up the piping for them.
Yeah, but Yeah, I guess mine's not more like piping, but yeah, they have mine. Yeah, he probably does need piping for that. So.
Yep. Go ahead, Cosmac. See what else we got there. If there's any left. So
Still
this was the
pulling them up.
backside. The inside look. Yeah, still looking from the inside out. But really cool place, and he spends a lot of time out there now. This is there it is. Can you zoom in on that one, Cosmic?
He has a ninja.
It gives a breakdown on each of the buttons. If you look, it shows you can do a slushy, you can do a spiked slushy, you can do a frap, a milkshake, or frozen juice, and you got to push which button it is you're using the machine for at that time. So it can make any number of those. It's just a matter of how cold the tube inside. There it is, that silver tube that looks like it's got a corkscrew on the front of it. That gets really cold apparently and turns everything into ice or slush.
The Ninja is a good brand. They also have like blenders and juice, like
they have what do they call them? The fry machines. What are they? The air fryers.
Oh,
Ninja's got everything.
Well, yeah, but the juicers and the blenders, they make some great juicers and blenders.
Absolutely.
My favorite air fryer is a Power XL, but that's just me. I've had the Cuisinart. I've had a couple other ones, but Power XL, I've had 2 of those. My favorite.
Any others, Cosmac? Or was that the last of them?
There's still a couple more.
And that's the full-on stepping back from the bar. In daylight, the place must look absolutely gorgeous because he's got it all decked out. And then at night, he's got all the little lights on so you can see. Even the lights inside the tinsel in the roofing, he's got them that they can change green for Jets, blue and orange for Mets, blue and white for Yankees. I think green and white for Nets. No, Nets. Jets are green and white. Nets, I think, were orange and also blue, but instead of blue orange, it's orange blue.
Green and white. It's a athletics.
Yep. So this was his bar, and it was So very cool stuff.
Indeed.
I really appreciated the fact that he wanted to show it off to me. He said, "Oh yeah, I got the bar next door." I said, "Is that where you made the slushies?" He goes, "Yeah, I've got a slushy machine." I'm like, "You made slushy margaritas in your slushy machine in your house, which is next door to the party you're at right now?" He goes, "Yep." I'm like, "You got to take me over there." So he said, "All right, come, let's take a look." So we did. Really cool guy.
Wasting away in Margaritaville.
Thank you very much. Yes, Gerard is wasting away in Margaritaville while enjoying his cocktails.
Looking for that last shaker of stuff.
So is Zoso? Do we know if Zoso is going live tonight?
It was
as far as I know, he's scheduled to go live at the normal time. I believe he's got a banger of a movie to watch tonight too. So
cool.
Stay tuned.
What is he watching? Independence Day?
No. I think it's a little more obscure than that.
Maybe Eraserhead.
It's a very interesting movie. I don't want to spoil it. So,
all right. So, guys, make sure you get to go over to Zoso Dudes. We're going to raid his channel soon, and you check him out because Zoso Dude has always got something fun and interesting going on on the mystery ship. So we'll check that out later tonight. But yeah. So, what did you guys do for Independence Day? Did you guys get to go out and do anything special? Did you have family over? Did you guys stay home and barbecue or what?
I sent the wife away with family for the weekend, so I had a nice quiet weekend.
Nice.
I was actually kind of I had this allergy thing going on. I was kind of sick. Yeah, Kitty and I were just kind of out of it, so we didn't do anything.
Just relaxed at home.
Yeah, pretty much.
We didn't even go hunting. That's not true. I went with a group of kids that were in the house next to us that were partying, and we walked about 3 blocks in and 1 block over, and we barely saw fireworks on the other side of the community being shot off, but we could barely see them. So we all just kind of like said, oh well." We heard them, that's for sure. I mean, we heard the bangs and the whirly gigs, you know.
We heard we heard ours as well. But actually, a few days last weekend, was going to the grocery store, and over at the polo field, actually it's a cricket field. They they had these drones um, that were doing like these digital fireworks. What they weren't even fireworks. It was like a show. They had this orchestra playing. We were going to the grocery store, and we can actually hear the orchestra barely from the grocery store and see the show from the grocery store parking lot. And very interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was
That's
very
cool.
very interesting because actually I didn't even know what was going on. We were just going to the grocery store. We wanted to go to the deli, get some sandwiches, and at the grocery store, and we just saw this show of drones doing. They were doing the seasons. Basically, they did flowers. We saw this giant flower. Kitty thought she's like, "Did you slip anything into anything?"
There you go.
I'm drinking.
Cosmac, you did release the gold pills. Did you release the chesticle?
I have not let the chest loose. The scratchings are loose right now, and I am just about to go ahead and let the chest loose right now. So let me let everyone do that. All right, here comes the treasure chest.
But those drone shows are actually very fascinating, by the way. If you've never seen one live, that's the first time I've seen one live on TV.
Well, I was watching Skinwalker Ranch with Omazon and Matrix Codebreaker 2 months back, and they had 40 drones in the sky over this site that was apparently some sort of portal site for aliens, and 40 drones up in the air, all doing, you know, patterns and things, and then all of a sudden, one drops out, another drops out, like literally, they were slowly coming down out of the sky because something was manipulating their energy over in Skinwalker Ranch, and it was insane. Because like you hear them talking, like we lost control of this one. Oh, we just lost another one. We lost number 6. We lost number 20. We lost number 24. And like slowly but surely, they were all slowly just starting to come down to the ground. It was wild. It was really wild.
Well,
so they believe they had that energy source within their parameters or perimeters, and it was making the drones kind of drop out one at a time.
I'm talking about something completely different, but yeah,
No, I know you're talking about having a light show in the sky with drones.
Yeah,
like a laser light show, but with drones. I get it.
Yeah,
a friend of mine does that for a film production house.
Yeah, if you look
he
up
flies those drones to the lasers.
Yeah,
I just find it kind of funny that 10 years ago everybody was marveling at the drone shows like that, the drone laser shows, the drone light shows in China, and just think about the fact that that's how they do war in Ukraine now.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
but
Trump,
it's not.
Trump
It's not benign
anymore.
Well, during the Seoul in South Korea, the Olympics, they did these shows, but to see one live in the sky is actually really something else.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally write in the sky with lasers. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, you can
All
look
right.
at
Well,
the
quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick congratulations to our Lucky Lemon winners tonight: TL Spud, John Rogers, Bad Zoot, Syllabore, and Willie Fixit. And we are still waiting for Zoso Dude to go live so we can set a raid. And I'm going to say that a not so good sign is the fact that Zoso Dude just won one gold pill from the scratching. So Zoso Dude is still here,
well,
I guess.
Yeah.
If you want to grab one of the videos I posted from July 4th, you're more than welcome to, or the Big Beautiful Bill. You can grab one of those, and we can play that till Zoso Dude goes live, and then we can roll into the closings.
Yeah, just I'd have to get that set up. I'm hoping Zoso Dude goes live here in the next minute, and
yeah, that would be nice.
I'm sure he would say something if he wasn't. Yeah. Good to see.
Yeah, no, he would have said something already.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I know he's got a movie lined up tonight. I know it's an interesting one.
Cool.
Good to see you, Fact Finder. Long time no see.
That was a
Fact
name and a sticker I didn't recognize. I thought that was interesting. Pennsyltucky Hilljack. Oh. Zoso Dude is live. All right, so here goes the raid. We are setting the raid for Zoso Dude.
And let's say goodnight, everybody. Go ahead,
There
Norm.
he is.
I'll let you start it off.
Good night. Enjoy your beer.
Cheers. Enjoy your beer.
Good night, everyone. I will not be drinking this again. Don't drink seltzer, folks.
Not a recommendation from the 3BeerMen.
Indeed.
Oh my God, they're driving their little mini bikes up and down the road over here in front of my son's house. It's crazy. Bye, Lori Cafeteria.
Let's say goodnight.
Good night. Wave
Good
good
night,
night,
everyone.
Norm.
We'll see you over at Zoso Dudes.
Cheers.
Folks, time to call a night. Do what you feel and keep both feet on the wheel. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So till next time.
Move 'em on.
Hit 'em up.
Hit 'em up.
Move 'em on.
Move 'em on.
Hit 'em up.
Rawhide. Cut 'em out.
Ride 'em in.
Ride 'em in.
Cut 'em out.
Cut 'em out. Ride 'em in. Rawhide.
Let's get the hell out of here.